Welcome back again. It's great to have you with us today, and I appreciate you joining us. And I hope that you'll help spread the word to tune in to Charter School Radio every Wednesday from 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we try to have a program that's informational, that talks about what's going on throughout not only the nation, but to here in California as far as the school choice charter school movement goes. Again, if you were tuned in the first half hour to our guest, Margaret Fortune, it's people like that that are going to give us an opportunity to make a difference in this world as far as turning our educational system around. We also try to get around to the different states and the different associations that are out there in charge of the charter school movements in their particular states to kind of give you a feel of what's going on in the different states. We try to get different organization think tanks on to talk about what they believe needs to be done as far as turning around our education system. Obviously, it's something that we've been talking about for, the last 50, 60 years about the quality of education in the United States, how it's gradually over the years kind of deteriorated, even though we're spending, like I have said in the past, billions and billions of dollars on our public school system. Why is it that we have not been able to make a difference? Now, are there individual schools, public schools, that are doing great things? Yes. But overall, if you look at the amount of money we spend, you look at the overall school system, and in all honesty, you would have to label it as, you have just to be honest about it, it's a failure. When you look at schools that are spending in Los Angeles in 2008, they were spending $29,000 a student. Yet they had one of the highest dropout rates. Students could not read at the high school level. Uh, and there's no excuse for that. I mean, here at Escondido Charter High School, we spend about $6,153 a student. Can you imagine if we had $29,000 per student? I know one thing, our teachers would be the highest paid in the state, which I'd love to be able to do because they're hardworking, dedicated people. But there's just really no excuse for what's going on. And we also try to feature different vendors out there, different people that also have a good product that could maybe help the charter school movement or the public school movement save money. And one of those such vendors happens to be one of the sponsors of our show, and it's called Health Savings Associates. It's an insurance service company, and they kind of have a program that really helps cut the cost to a lot of our schools and businesses, and especially the charter school movement that's always trying to save money. And we have the person, one of the lead guys there with Brad Chapin, is back with us again. We only had a few minutes with him last time, so I wanted to invite him back to talk a little bit more in depth about exactly what the Health Savings Associates can do for a charter school, how you can contact him. But I want to welcome Brad back to our show. Didn't quite make it into the studio again, Brad, but that's all right. How are you doing
Good.
today?
I was just talking to Jack earlier, and how are you, Coach?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
It's
Doing well.
good to have you back with us again. And what I wanted to do is, and again, the thing with radio, you got to be able to paint a picture and not get into too much technical jargon, but I want to paint a picture if you can kind of share a scenario so you can paint that picture for people exactly what you do and how it helps the employer and the employee with your health savings accounts and the different products that you have to offer.
What we do, Coach, is I go to schools and I try to share some strategic planning ideas on how they can lower their premiums while at the same time giving the teachers rich benefits. And there's only one way on the planet to do that. Where most schools, they'll buy these really rich plans. They'll have $10 copays or $20 copays or 15, which is a rich plan. And they'll have maybe $250 deductible or a $500 deductible on the PPO side.
And PPO, just in case people don't understand.
And the PPO means you can go to any doctor you want, preferred Physicians Association.
Very good.
Organization in the PPO case. HMO, you have to select a doctor on the list, and you have to get referred out to everything. When you're on PPO, you pick your own doctor. You go anywhere you want. It's your choice. You manage your own care. And typically, most schools will offer both plans. They'll have, PPO plans, and they'll have HMO plans.
And the teacher can choose between those two.
Yeah, in most schools, you get a stipend. The teacher gets X amount, $8,000 a year towards their benefits, or
11,000 in some cases, and 14,000.
14,000 in some cases, and it varies all over the place. But the bottom line to this whole thing, and sometimes the unions have to get involved, and I guess less with charter schools, right, than with public schools.
Yes, for the most part, because there are a lot of charter schools that do not have the unions or at-will employees.
Right, and the unions get it, and when they get involved, it screws it all up. But what happens is in health insurance, the bottom line, Coach, most people, 80% of the people don't go to the doctor. 80% of the people go less than 3 visits a year to the doctor.
So 20% of the people are causing the health coverage to go up.
The old 80-20 rule, right. But when you go to, let's say, school X, and they have a $250 deductible or a $500, and maybe they only got a 15 or a 20 copay on the HMO, and if you go to the hospital, you might only pay $100. So what we do, Coach, we lessen the benefits. We'll go to like a $2,000 deductible, and we'll raise the copay to $40 from $20, and we'll put a fee in. If you have to have surgery, you're going to have to pay a fee. But so we put in these less rich benefit plans, but we save a fortune in premium. So now the school is cutting their premium on everybody. And then the school can set up what they call a health reimbursement arrangement or a health savings account. Mm-hmm. And they can say, okay, well, we had a $500 deductible, but now we have a $2,000. But anybody that goes over the $500 to the $2,000, we're going to reimburse that to you. Because we saved on the one side, you save all this money in premium, right? Your monthly premium goes way down because you don't have as rich a plan. But technically, for all intents and purposes, you're keeping a rich plan internally. It's all set up by a third-party administrator. So you'll tell anybody, okay, well, if you go over the $500, where that was before covered by the insurance company, now our new deductible is $2,000. But we're going to reimburse that to you. But you're only going to have to reimburse 10 or 12% of the people, because most of the people don't even hit a $500 deductible.
Right, it's just the people that use it quite a bit.
You're only reimbursing the people that use it. But you're going to save premium when you go to the insurance company and you tell them to restructure your plan. Because most companies, I don't even need to switch insurers. They keep the same insurance company, so nobody needs to switch doctors.
Well, that's what was one of my questions, because that came up last week. Somebody asked me about that when they heard you. Is it any plan that you can do that with? And you just answered that. You can go to...
Yeah, you can do it with every insurance company will let you build your own plan. So we build a plan that you still have a drug card, and they still have an office visit copay feature, but for things like surgery and hospital, where the deductible is going to apply, you're not going to have to reimburse. Most people are not going to need the reimbursement. So you're going to wind up saving all the premium on all those people. And then the ones that need it, you set up this HRA, health reimbursement arrangement, and when you reimburse the employee, Coach, it's non-taxable. They don't have to pay tax on the reimbursement. It's Section 105 of the IRS code. So it's not a question of if a school will save money. Every school I've went to, I cut their premium. Every corporation I go to, it's not if, it's just how much they'll save.
All right, so now that's...
And usually they'll cut their cost by about 20%, 25%.
And so and every school district has one or two employees that has some real chronic problems, and maybe if they change their health plans, they can't get coverage somewhere else or something like that. Is that a problem at all?
No, you can change your health carriers. When it's group insurance, there's no health questions.
Okay.
So a company at school can change carriers anytime they want, and there's no health questions once you're over 2 people.
But a large school, let's just take our local district here, the Escondido Union High School District or the elementary district. They normally have one main provider, right? That gives them a plan that they can choose between a HMO or a PPO.
Right. They'll usually have one provider. Some districts, if they're big enough, they'll also most districts will have Kaiser and like Kaiser and Blue Shield or Kaiser and Blue Cross or Kaiser and Cigna. So, but whoever the insurance company is, we're not going to necessarily switch carriers. But Almost every school district, 98% of the districts in the United States are on the wrong plan. They're just doing it the wrong way. They're not setting up the right strategy. They're buying the rich plan on everybody, and 90% of the people aren't using that rich plan.
Right.
And so the company, it's a complete waste of money, and they need to. And most brokers, like I talked about last week, Coach, buying insurance is all a math equation. What's my risk, and what do I pay?
Right.
Well, on the average rich plan, like you said, let's say somebody has $1 million claim, almost every plan is capped at $3,000 or $4,000 as your out-of-pocket max. We'll raise that to like $5,000. So if somebody has that $1 million claim, they're going to be out of pocket an extra $1,000 versus their other plan. But we're going to reimburse that to them because you're only going to have a handful of people per 100 people that you're going to have to reimburse. So it's like magic. And what the problem is, the word's not getting out on these health reimbursement arrangements because, hey, most brokers got their heads buried in the sand. They don't think out of the box like I do. And they don't think about every strategy because their commission is based upon higher premium.
Right.
So the more the premium is, so the broker doesn't have a huge incentive to go to the school, show them how to structure this great new plan.